this afternoon, as we've said. Quick word for Remy Gardner. He's got himself up into the top 10 and 11th on the combined time. So Gardner finding a little bit of pace from somewhere as well.
Yeah, important there on the Yamaha to be up there and half a second off the pace, around about a quarter of a second faster than Locatelli and half a second faster than Jonathan Ray. So the GRT bike doing a better job than the Pata bikes right now, but no points for FP2. It's about what you can do in the Super Pole session, and that's where we'll really get an indication of where everyone is.
Yes, Michael Ruben Rinaldi still out there, still lapping in the low 1 minute 50s, and I have to say Rinaldi looking very good at this stage. Okay, he's been relegated down to 12th position in FP2 this afternoon, but we know there's more underlying pace, because at one stage he was half a second up, wasn't he, before one of the laps went away from him. So he should have been able to set a time in and around the ballpark of Bautista, Petrucci, Gerloff, Bulliger there at the top of the timesheets.
Yeah, I think for Rinaldi, we've seen that he's been the busiest rider on track in this session. It's only Alex Lowes that's completed more laps than him, and Rinaldi's pace very consistent, very strong. And as you said, Alex, we didn't get to see that outright ultimate pace from him, but he's got a lap time in him that's right there at the front of the field within a few tenths of a second, and that's great to see from Rinaldi.
How much of his visits to Aragon and his success here is psychological, turning up at a track where you know you're going to do well and you come in with that little bit of confidence? How much of it is down to his riding style, and how much is it down to the fact that the Ducati is always the best bike around here at Motorland Aragon?
I think it's a bit of everything, and for Rinaldi, at the end of the day, the most important 6 inches on a racetrack are the ones that we're looking at right now between the ears of Nicola Bulliger. If you come to a track expecting that it's going to go well, that you've had success at in the past, it's very difficult not to maintain that momentum. Whereas if you go somewhere that's always been a struggle for you, it's always difficult to then turn up that and give yourself the chance of those strong results.
New fastest time of the afternoon for Nicolo Bulliger, 1 minute 49.153 now for him, so only just over a tenth of a second slower than what Toprak Razgatlioglu did in FP1 this morning. It's been a good afternoon for Bulliger as well.
He's been able to put in a lot of laps, a lot of fast laps, and for Bulliger, after the problems of this morning, he was still able to do 18 laps in FP1. He's done 19 laps so far in this session as well, and he's fast and he's consistent, and that's going to give him a big boost here at Aragon as well, because he knows the pressure he's under now. This is his chance to win a world championship. He needs to underline what he can do and try and give himself the best chance possible.
Balance of the day, though, and particularly this afternoon, is the strength of the Ducatis again in Motorland Aragon. Bulliger first, Bautista third, Petrucci, Iannone, Sam Lowes are all up there in those top 6 positions. Yeah,
we wondered about Toprak's endurance, and the final lap of that stint drops off by a half a second. There's a mid-50s there at the start of it as well. So for Razgatlioglu, it was just about trying to give himself the opportunity to learn as much as he could over those dozen laps. But a lot of 1 minute 49s, and for Razgatlioglu, if you're still lapping in the 49s, you're going to be setting competitive times with Marvin Fritz. That's a massive crash. Looks like it's at the end of the lap as well.
Yeah, the tyre's gone, the back end of the bike obviously very damaged there. For Marvin Fritz, substitute rider once again this weekend for Dominic Egerter at GRT on the number 17 bike. They're just trying to drag it out at the moment because it's wedged in where it is.
Yeah, the habits of an endurance rider die hard there. Marvin's still trying to help the marshals and get the bike moved and back onto the service road to get it back, but that's one of those situations where Marvin just needs to leave it to the marshals.
2 minutes to go in free practice too. He's not going to be getting any more running in on that's for sure, as Bulliger continues on still in the 1 minute 49s, mid 1 minute 49s. I think that was the striking thing about Toprak's pace, but also the fact that the Ducatis do seem to be able to match it at the moment here in Aragon.
Yeah, and really important to be able to do that against Toprak. Just hearing from the pits as well, Rinaldi seems to be leaving the pits on the X tyre as well, so a proper sim run here at the end of the session to try and set a fast lap time. So we'll keep an eye on what Rinaldi can do. The X tyre is the qualifying tyre this weekend, so the softest tyre available.
Well, that's nice. Let's hope he gets a clear run, because that would make a nice story at the end of the session. I wonder if Toprak is thinking along the same line. So no, he's not going to have time, actually, with only just over a minute to go. So that'll just be a practice start for him at the end of this session. Nicolo Bulliger, your fastest man then, and if Rinaldi is time attacking, then it's 1:49.153 that he's got to try and beat. Currently in 12th position in the session. That's Xavi Vierque just coming across the line for a 1 minute 49.982 in his case, in 13th position. And another lowly afternoon for Jonathan Rea on his return from injury. He's currently down in 17th place, exactly where he finished in FP1 earlier on today. He is on to set a new personal best, and he is a fair margin away from the pace at the moment. Crosses the line 1 minute 50.257 for Jonathan Rea, so still over a second slower than the fastest time in FP2.
Yeah, and for Rea, we've seen it all the way through the season. It's what he can do in a super pole session. One lap, does he have the speed to be able to find something to push himself up the grid, and that's been the bugbear for him all the way through this season.
That is his fastest time of the day, and it's still only good enough for 17th in the session and 17th on the combined times as well. As we watch Alvaro Bautista, 10th of a second down on the fastest time after 3 completed sectors on what's going to be his final lap time now, because the checkered flag is just a few seconds away from falling while Alvaro makes his way through the final 2 turns. Keep an eye then out on Rinaldi after the checkered flag. And we'll see here, free practice 2. Alvaro Bautista crossing the line, 10th of a second down after 3 sectors. Sets a 1 minute 49.337, so very close to the pace that he was able to set earlier on in the session for 3rd fastest. Has Rinaldi actually crossed the line to start this flying lap? Yes, he has. So just before the checkered flag. It was a little bit tight there in the end for Rinaldi.
Yeah, I'd say Rinaldi must have used the X earlier in the session for his second stint, and then he's just gone out to be able to do a practice start at the end of the session.
So checkered flag then has fallen. Nicolo Bulliger, the fastest man. Opportunities to improve on his time. Really, it's only Garrett Gerloff improving on what's going to be the final lap, the number 31. Gerloff with a few riders ahead of him, as you can see there at the just making his way into the braking zone in towards turn 16. Gerloff second fastest at the moment, over a 10th of a second up on Nicolo Bulliger, so the right final sector, he could set the fastest time of the day here. Garrett Gerloff off the final turn, crosses the line, and it is indeed the fastest time of the day by 0.004 of a second over Toprak Razgatlioglu's FP1 effort. So Gerloff, Bulliger, Bautista is your top 3. Petrucci, Iannone, Sam Lowes improving on his time. Ikaleko and Toprak Razgatlioglu both failing to improve on their times from FP1. And the last of the laps, Jonathan Rea has moved up into 14th position on the combined times and into the 1 minute 49s for the first time in Motorland Aragon this weekend.